Call Alan Robson's Night Owls now.
0191 488 3188.
This is real life conversation with the voice of the North.
Greatest Hits Radio.
And we are starting with Steve, who is in Gateshead. Hello, Steve.
Hi, Alan.
Hello, mate. What can we do for you tonight?
I was just wondering why Ant is still on the TV after being caught drinking and driving. I think it's disgusting. A couple of weeks rehab, and he's all right to get on with his life. But I think he should be in jail. It's like I lost my brother to a drinking driver a couple of years ago on a zebra crossing on Sunderland Road.
Right.
And I think it's just disgusting that he's still on TV.
I'm presuming it's because in his particular case, a lot of vehicles were damaged, but nobody was badly hurt. I'm not making excuses for him, because you just quite simply should never drink and drive, full stop. I'm with you there. Problem is, if you look at television in general, a lot of the people who have made it to the highest heights, some of them have. I mean, there was Leslie Grantham, the guy who played Dirty Den, if you remember.
Yes.
He shot a taxi driver in the head and killed him.
Yes, that's true, yes.
So, I mean...
But is it not promoting, like, it's okay to drink and drive, all you're going to get is a couple of weeks in rehab, and you get on with your life.
Right, I know it looks like that, and I tell you, if I'd lost my brother the same way, I'd feel exactly the same as yourself. I think a lot of people will be glad that Ant's back, and that'd be basically because they're very famous and they're greatly loved around the country. One of the big programmes at the moment, obviously, is the Celebrity Jungle thing that's happening. I get that. I do think, especially at this time of year, it wouldn't have hurt for Ant to come back out and say, this is a time... He'd be the perfect person to say to people, I was a fool, I was stupid, and this happened. If he turned it around and said, I'm coming back on TV, but before that, it's important to get this message across, maybe it would carry more weight than...
Yes, that's true. He didn't even apologise to the people he hit. And
so something needed to be said, therefore.
Yes, definitely.
Right. I mean, you mentioned that he got killed on a crossing on Sunderland Road.
Zebra crossing, yes, aye.
So what?
He was halfway across the crossing, the drunken driver just didn't stop to hit him.
Just took him out. How old was he?
25.
Good gracious. Now, you see, when you hear stories like that, what you've done tonight, Steve, is you've highlighted it more than anything could, because you and all your family and all the people that loved him have not had the chance to see him grow up. You know, all those years. So I hear what you say. I'll be interested to hear what the Night Owls think about this, but I do think Ant's missed his opportunity to... Well, maybe he could come back from the jungle and say, look, I was an idiot and I made a big mistake. Because we do make mistakes.
Yes, we all make mistakes, yes.
So maybe what he just needs to do is to put that right when he comes home. It's a thought, certainly, isn't it?
It is, yes, aye.
Hey, well, lovely talking to you. Thank you, Steve, for raising it. Really important that we talk about stuff like that.
No problem, Alan. Thank you very much for taking your comments.
Hey, no worries. It is... I was simply going to play this.
Hi, I'm Declan. Flash and Blade, get to those phones.
Because they've been night owls right the way through, and quite often they've cropped up on the show talking about it and what have you. Decent lads. Do I think that he should have come out and said something, as Steve suggests? I think it would be the perfect opportunity for him to do that. And I hope the message gets through to him, and I hope he does. Harvey's been on as well about the women in prison thing. You know how they're saying, the government are saying that women should not be sent to prison for non-violent crimes. And he says this: women have wanted equality with men for decades. Now they have equality. If a woman breaks the law, depending on the crime, they should go to prison, just like men do. If women are spared prison for non-violent crime, that could give the green light to these women who just want a career in crime. Scenario: I'm just out to do the weekly shoplifting. Yours, Harvey. I hear that loud and clear. And why wouldn't you? If you knew the worst thing that was going to happen was you'll sit at a police station and have to give some of the things you've pinched back, but the stuff you pinched the day before, you've got away with it. I just think it's a dangerous precedent, isn't it? Anyway, let's get cracking. There's a lot to talk about. Bev is in Middlesbrough. Hello, Bev.
Hiya.
Hello, darling. What can we do for you tonight? What are you talking about?
The worst Christmas presents that you've given, or the best ones.
Right.
Mine's kind of a two-for story. I've got two older sisters.
Right.
And I'm not a big fan of Christmas. I'm, like, pagan myself.
Right.
So when I do Christmas, I either do really sincere or really funny. And one year I thought, for my elder sister, she's quite religious, so I got her a gold cross.
Right.
In like a little jewelry box. But then for my middle sister, I didn't know what to buy her, so I wrapped up a pack of songs in a jewelry box.
Brilliant.
And gave her that.
Brilliant.
It was really funny at the time.
So, I mean, as a pagan, do you just celebrate the solstice and then go along with Christmas because everybody gives a present, so you've got it kind of wrapped up? Now, I think that's what most pagans would do. But I love the fact that you do it with kind of a tongue firmly wedged in your cheek at the time. That's brilliant. So, I mean, what's the worst thing that you've got, though?
The worst thing I've got, I think my friend gave me 2 pence and 2 pencils because I do a lot of art. So he gave me 2 pencils because he found them on the floor in the office.
He found them. He didn't even go to, she does a lot of drawing. We'll buy her some pencils. These are second-hand found pencils.
Yeah.
Right. Because the one thing that I always thought was a bit of a disappointment was, when offices of garages or factories, wherever you work, they tend to do that secret Santa thing and they'll say, don't buy anything for more than, and then they give you a number.
Yeah.
And the number's always a bad number. It's always like, we'll not spend more than £1. What can you get for £1 for anybody? So then they'll go, nothing more than £5, and then you go, I don't want to play this game. Now it's getting a bit expensive. But whatever you get's wrong from one of those, isn't it? I can't remember anybody ever saying, "Oh, I'm really pleased with that." Whatever
You know
it is.
the person really well, and it's a small team.
Yeah, well, I suppose if there's only 4 of you and you could probably get away with it. But if there's 20 of you, you've got no chance of anything decent in the middle of that, have you? Not really. So, are you sorted for Christmas, Bev? Are you done and dusted?
I don't buy for Christmas really now.
Right. Well, you will. You'll get the food in, I'm guessing.
My mum's actually invited me to her house. That's another thing that I wanted to raise. I've had mental health problems, and for the past about 13, 14 years, my family haven't accepted me.
Oh, my goodness.
But this year they've actually accepted me and invited me round for Christmas.
Excellent.
Because I am 2 years clean from self-harm and overdosing.
Oh, that's great.
And I wanted to say thank you to you and all the night owls for it, because if it wasn't for the support of you all, I don't think I'd have got through.
The weird thing, about the religion that you've picked, and yes, it's one of the ones that you've probably got less to do being a pagan than if you were any other faith in the world. But the only thing you've got to remember is that we're all connected. We're all the same. We are your family, and we'll love you to bits, and we don't want you to hurt you. So the last thing we want is for you to be harming yourself. But 2 years clean, that's fantastic.
It's been a massive struggle, but it's achievable. And I've even started, I met girls in mental health hospitals, and they've started their own recovery plans, and I sit with them, and any advice that I hear from the Night Owls, or I hear from people from the Night Owls page that I'm on Facebook, I forward it to them and say, look, these people are feeling this way as well, and it can be achieved and things like that. And a couple of my friends are actually on the month mark now. Right, that's great. And I'm so proud of everyone that can achieve it.
But isn't it strange that when you're talking about the faith that you have, yet you must have felt really isolated to want to hurt yourself in the first place.
Yeah, I did. I felt. I don't know if it was myself who's isolated myself, or whether it's just society, because I started getting annoyed at going out with people I thought were friends and them sitting on the phones constant.
Yeah.
So it really started to get to me, and then obviously voices creep in and they're like, oh, they're talking about you because they're not talking to you, and yeah.
No, I can see that. And I tell you, if ever there's a thing that generates paranoia, it's our blasted phobia about phone. We're all obsessed with telephones. And could I have my telephone with me? I haven't got my telephone with me. I've left it in the house. Going to have to. You know, at one time, we only had a phone in the house. You know, when you had landlines and stuff?
Yeah.
We only had one. But now it's, I've left it. I'm 13 miles away from home now, but I'm going to drive all the way back to get my phone in case what happened. You know, what is so desperate? We've got to learn how to put them down.
And then you find out that no one's called.
Nobody's called. You've got no message. No, absolutely. And you get all the way. Then you go. Remember, you've travelled 13 mile back, then 13 mile to where you were when you remembered you didn't have your phone. You've been all over the cross in the afternoon, and still nobody's called you.
Yeah.
Well, that's just crackers, isn't it, the whole thing? But, hey, I must say that the beginning to the show, thanks to you, with respect, that's the best news I could possibly have heard, because I wanted to do something good today. You know, it always helps to build your karma up a bit and try and especially coming up to Christmas. And I saw somebody in a doorway, you know, with all the bedding and stuff, and I thought, I'm gonna park the car, and I dug a sandwich out of my bag and a drink and a few quid, and I was walking across. God, you'll not believe this. I was walking across to give this person in the door their Christmas. You know, just a bit of love at Christmas. There you go. And he was on his laptop.
Okay.
I'm going, what's he doing? Checking his social calendar? You know, I'm thinking, what are you doing in a doorway? If you could, he's got a laptop, you know, with a dongle, presumably picking up, I don't know, some signal from somewhere. And he's smoking, and he's eating a packet of Marks and Spencer's crisps. And I'm thinking, blimey, is he really badly off? And I said, what are you doing in a doorway? And he says, well, I'm begging. I'm saying, you got a laptop, and I mean, it doesn't look great if you're begging on your laptop. Are you using that to count your money? And he just laughed, and I walked away, and I thought, I'll save this for the next one that I say, rather than this fella.
Yeah.
But on a laptop, that's a new one for me.
That's crazy.
Unbelievable. Because you know yourself that, heaven forbid, it's a horrible time of year to be on the streets. But which ones are real and which ones aren't? And
we have that problem in Middlesbrough.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, who's going to get a taxi home on the money that hard-working people have given them when they've got a somewhere warm to live? Yeah, I think it's difficult nowadays telling the difference between one and two. Anything else while you're on then, Bev? You are a superstar, and I'm so proud of you.
No, that's everything. Thank you.
Hey, well, you have a lovely Christmas. Get back in with the family, but stay yourself.
Yeah.
All right. Take care, darling. All the best. Bye-bye. Isn't she lovely? 2 years clean, which is absolutely fantastic. Let's play something upbeat and cool. Haven't got anything that's like da-da. You know what I mean? Because she deserves something esoteric. Esoteric? Yeah. I think we can probably do that, because after all, we're greatest hits, aren't we? Amazing sound. Prince. Love Prince. What a star. Dedicating that to our superhero who's just been on, and deservedly so. 1980, when was that? 1984, I'm guessing. 1984, yeah, it was 1984. If you want to guess, if you're good at the guessy game thing, you know, top 10 at 10, we got Mark Goodyear every morning checking that out and picking a date that I always get wrong. I'm always about 2 years up or 2 years down. I'm never even close as a rule. Mark Goodyear checking that out. Top 10 at 10, make sure you join him. 1 or 2 Christmas treats in there for you as well, which is pretty good. We have Jane, who is in Northumberland. Let's find out what she's all about. Hi, Jane.
Hi, Alan.
Hello,
I was on a while ago talking about a Dutch artist who'd rescued children.
Yes,
yeah,
I remember.
That. And you said, ring in if you've got any more snippets and things for us.
Oh, yes, please.
Got something. It's different to that one, no?
Okay.
There's this book called The Past is Myself by a lady called Christabel Bielenberg.
Past is Myself, right?
It was published in 1970, but it got reprinted sometime in the 80s.
Okay.
And what it was, she was actually the niece of somebody who was in the House of Lords. And in 1934, she married a Hamburg lawyer. Mm-hmm. And so she had that experience of living in Hamburg before the war started and throughout the war.
Right.
Now, Hamburg's always been an interesting place within Germany anyway.
Yeah.
And they've always been very outward looking.
Sure.
They've got a lot of Scandinavians have gone to live there, and even now you hear surnames around there like Carlson and Olsen and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the only part of Germany on a sea, isn't it?
Yeah. And so they've always felt like that part of the Nordics more than a part of Germany.
Right.
And they also liked England as well, and they've adopted the Rowan culture.
Right.
Got a lot of Portuguese and Spanish residents as well. Yeah. But the book's definitely worth the read.
I've written it down.
It's about her life and her family and a husband who he was forced to work as an officer for Hitler against his will.
Right.
And he was arrested. That was the plot on Hitler's life in 1944. He was arrested just after that happened.
Wow.
And of course, that caused a lot of troubles for the family, logistics of where are they going to stay, and it put her on the radar of the Gestapo.
Oh, blimey! Right.
So it's a very human perspective on what it was like to be there. And I remember the interesting thing was that when I was reading this, the first part she's talking about she's in London and she's saying she's going to the German embassy and she's actually surrendering a British passport because she's going to marry a German. Oof. And so she's in Germany and that's it.
Right.
She's got to live a life like that. But it was a fascinating read.
Sounds like a movie on the make, Bain, doesn't it?
Actually, I think that was a vague reference to it. There might have been either a documentary about it on the BBC or a series.
Well, I've wrote that down because it's right up my street, because this past week we heard somebody mention the podcast that I do every week. It's called Alan Robson's Grisly Tale, and they tend to be a mixture of ghost stories and historical tales. And this week I've been doing the war before, should I say, First World War, the story of another woman with Dutch heritage, Martha Hari, of all people. And I always thought that I knew the story of Martha Hari. When you actually get in there, it's a juicy little thing, Yeah. Bless her, and losing her children and you think, whoa, how come I didn't know all of this? And a massive injustice at the end. If that's worth a read, whether it's mine or whether it's a listen rather, if it's my podcast. But worth a read for anybody if you don't know a story. Yeah. Get involved with that as well. So what's your background with Europe then? How are you connected?
Well, I mean, the Dutch thing, I've worked in Holland, lived there for over 10 years.
Right.
And I did a lot of project work in Germany, and I ended up going up to Hamburg to visit friends, to go to meetings and what have you, and then took an interest in the place.
It's a different Germany because my sister married a German whose dad happened to be a stormtrooper, just what you need to know. But my travels around kind of central and southern Germany, Munich and what have you, and Cologne and Dusseldorf, Berlin, that's a different place again. But I must say, out of all of the places in Germany, if you are going to go and you want a light-hearted, fun, easy time, Hamburg's got it in spades, hasn't it? I think Hamburg is... I quite like Cologne, if I had to pick the others. But even now, I still feel there's a hint of racism here and there, certainly in the south. But in Hamburg, it's almost like you're not in Germany. It's no other way to describe it. It's like Germany light. If you know what I mean.
Maybe it's the fact of support as well.
Maybe so. Maybe it's the involvement of so many other people from so many other places.
Yeah.
Maybe it's that. So tell me about Christmas in Holland. Then you've had 10 years of it.
Yeah. Well, I was going to mention that it's Holland and Belgium, and it's actually. They don't celebrate giving presents on the 24th of December as much as we do. They actually do it on the 5th of December.
The 5th? Why the 5th?
So this week, why they do that? They call it it's the Sinterklaas.
Right.
Like the St. Nicholas celebration.
Right.
And what they do is, well, I mean, before the 5th of December, the Sinterklaas has come on a steamship, supposedly. He comes into Holland, then he goes around, he's visiting the children. And what they do, they leave their shoe out.
Right.
And Sinterklaas, we do it with stockings. So Sinterklaas is meant to come along and give the good children treats.
In their shoe?
In the shoe, yeah.
Right.
And the family, like if a family's celebrating Sinterklaas, or even a group of friends, what they do is they'll tend to buy, it's like one gift per person, not loads of gifts to different people, and they write a funny poem about the person who's going to get the present, and when they're opening the present, they read the poem out about them, have a giggle.
That's a lovely idea, and also if it's a shoe, you can't get that much in a shoe, especially if it's like a little child's shoe. You know, a tenth of a flake or something in there, I'm guessing. But I always heard that in Dutch tradition, St. Nicholas doesn't live in Lapland. He comes up from Spain every year.
That's it, from Spain. And then if there's any naughty children, they get taken back to Spain in the steamship.
Well, but you'd have thought people wouldn't mind that too
I know.
much.
I used to joke about that myself as well.
Take me with you, Santa. Come on, it's freezing up here.
Yeah, but they have as well a quite traditional type food and biscuits.
Right.
So there's one that's very nice. It's speculaas. So it's like a spiced shortbread.
Right.
And if you Google, any of the owls are interested, you can get a recipe for it.
So what's there? Before we get down to any one specific thing, what do they have for Christmas dinner? Is it a turkey thing, or do they go a different way?
I think they can eat the turkey thing on the 24th.
Right.
Or a meal of some sort. It's more the 24th is for you to be, with your family, with your friends.
Right.
Some people might go out. It's not, it's probably not quite the same as how we do it, but they do eat.
Well, I've just got an email coming in here from Marguerite, who says, ask her if she's had cursed brood. And whether she's ever eaten gourmetten, which is apparently hot plates where you go around people's houses and they've got like little versions of a dinner for guests when they come round the house.
No, I haven't.
I've never had them.
No.
I've been in Holland a lot. We did a week's worth of shows there. I've never even seen either of those. Cursed brood apparently is Christmas bread, which is a bit thicker than ours apparently.
Yeah, it might have a lot of fruit in it.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, the Christmas trees, I suppose, yes or no? Or?
Yes. They have Christmas trees, yeah.
Right. It's funny, isn't it? Because we've heard that the other... If you ask me, what do they eat in Holland, I would say, well, they do that pea and ham soup thing and they pride themselves upon it. I thought the pea soup was great until I hit this foot-long sausage in the bottom of it, and it really put me off. But the pea soup I thought was lovely. What else would you say are the things you should go to Holland to eat then,
What, in general at this time of the year?
Yeah, any time really. So.
Because they had a long relationship with Indonesia. You've seen Indonesian restaurants and Indonesian food and spices and sauces have got into the Dutch cuisine.
Sounds great.
So there's a lot of Indonesian places, and you get small places that even street food type things going on, like they call it like a toko is like a small Indonesian shop, and I mean, it's like €5 or €6 you can get something.
Sounds great. I mean,
And,
because Holland was a colonial country, the same way that Britain was. They had colonies all over Africa, all over the Middle East. So that comes back to them in the same way that our colonies, India particularly, we've got an Indian on every corner now, which is great stuff.
Yeah.
You know, people don't think of Dutch food as being particularly great, I have to say. You know, it doesn't have French cuisine. Oh, now we're talking. And yet next door, Holland doesn't seem to get a lot of credit for the food that it does.
I mean, they've got their fair share of restaurants where they've got famous chefs
Sure.
and things. But I like, especially if it's called the traditional Dutch food, find it very nice. Some of it's not unlike what we have. They do something called a stampot, which is it's like mashed potato and kale, and there's various versions of them. Some can be with carrot. And
I seem to remember a hut spot when I was there as well.
Hut spot, yeah. And sometimes it's just like a grilled piece of fish with a lot of vegetables and herbal butter.
Right.
There's a little restaurant, if you're ever in Amsterdam, which is near the Anne Frank Museum.
Right.
And if I'm allowed to say the name
Yeah, of
on
course
there,
you can, yeah.
It's called Het Zwantje, the Little Swan.
The Little Swan.
And they've got, it's like, you go in and they've got carpet on the tables and the candles are out. Very cosy, but whenever, if I've been there and I've had family come, my friends wanting to go for traditional Dutch food, I've taken them there. And they do for afters. I mean, you cannot get onto the puddings if you eat. You should see the size of the plates. Food, you have to starve yourself all day before you're going for this.
Gotcha.
Because they give you, I mean, it's like your piece of salmon. I mean, they'll do a stampot for vegans as well. They would get probably a vegetarian. They will adapt their menu to fit people. But if you have got room for a dessert, to do apple pie with cinnamon ice cream.
Oh, blimey.
And lots of other ice cream type dishes.
Yeah, we could have some of that.
I mean, lovely place. And it's because it's such a nice area, that 9 Streets area with the canals and what have you. It's very picturesque.
It is. I love the area around there because you can just go street looking, if you know what I mean. You walk down the street and you can see all of the houses that are beautiful, and everyone's different to the one next door. It's just fabulous. I love that. I love that. And a lot of people don't take the chance because they stay where the town centre is, and you should really go for a wander because that's the true Amsterdam. Hey, but lovely talking to you, Jane. Thank you so much for all of that. I will check that book out. Thank you very much.
All right. Bye-bye.
Take care. Well done. How about that? Quick break, and then we're back talking to Ian from Bladen about, well, stuff.
This is Real Life Conversation with the voice of the North.
This is Night Owls with Alan Robson.
Call 0191 488 3188.
Greatest Hits Radio.
There you go. Have you sampled a Christmas from somewhere else in the world? And what was it like? And what food did you have? And what's Christmas like? Do they do it the same way as they do here? Or are there radical changes? I would love to find out one way or another. Also, we mentioned Amy Winehouse. I'm going to be playing the next music you hear on your Greatest Hits Christmas Night Owls will be Amy in session. Oh, yeah. Got some of that for you first, and we'll hear the chat within the next hour or so. Lots to cover, lots to deal with. And Ian from Bladen's joined the throng. Hello, Ian.
Hello, Alan.
Hello,
nice
sir.
to hear you, Andy, again.
Thank you,
Right,
man.
Alan. Right, I just wanted, being a night owl, I wanted to tell you, being a psychic, I do other work as well, and one of the things I do, Alan, is I save lost souls. Somebody who goes over, in a sudden trauma. And one girl I picked up one morning, well, in the early hours, it's something like 4:15 when it happens. And she was telling us this story. She lived in Denver, Australia, lived in a place called Creswell, Billington County. And I said, what happened? She says, she says, it was one of those games that went wrong. I said, what happened? And she says, they were messing about with eggs. And she says, she cracked an egg with her boyfriend's head.
Right.
And she ran away. And she thought she got away with it. And then so she turned her back on him. and she was heading into this bar.
Yeah.
And she was hit at the back of the head on the right side, under where the lumpy bit is, the back of your skull.
Yeah.
It was the force of the egg was enough to kill her.
Give over.
Yeah. And I says, how did that happen? She says, just one of those things. And she says, just fluke. And I went, eh. And I was like really shocked. And I said, do you know where you are now? And she went, yeah, I think so. So I sent her away.
Right.
And there was another one. It was like a couple of nights later. We heard about that massacre in America.
Uh-huh.
And I was going, oh, God, look at that. And it was all over Facebook, and it was on the BBC News,
Sure.
and I forgot all about it.
Yeah.
And again, the next morning, I woke up and I thought I was in a hospital. It was chaos. And then there was doctors and nurses running in both directions. I says, what's this? She says, I was shot. And then I didn't know where I was. And I'm looking around, I'm looking up and down, and I'm saying, oh, what's this? I said, do you know where you are? She went, yeah. And then it all calmed down. And then I was just in like this big white room. And I says, oh, looks like you've gone over. She went, thanks. And she was gone.
Wow.
And then there was the one, my wife, that just getting news of she knew a little girl where she'd knew her all her life.
Mm-hmm.
And she was, I'm not going to say her age because I don't want to say anything.
Okay.
And I can say she was over 16.
Right.
But what happened was she passed over. Something went wrong. And she says, can you say a prayer for her? I went, yeah, I say a prayer, yeah. So nothing more, So I said a prayer, and that was the end of that.
Mm-hmm.
And the next morning, I was woken up, and just after 4 a.m, I said, hello, who are you? And I was in this white room. It's like a chat room. And it was like a white bedroom. And this girl standing in the corner, and I said, hello, can I help you? And she just shrugged her shoulders. And I said, hello. And I got close, and she squinted her eyes, and I explained who I was and who I was related to. The penny dropped, and she says, it just went wrong. I went, fine, do you know where you are? And she was like, she wasn't quite sure. I says, you've gone over, you've been helped over. She just says, I was just wondering who you were. And it's something so simple as saying a prayer. You can help someone to go over. And it's one of the things I do. And another thing, Alan, writing books.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you get me 2 stories I sent down to the studio just before you left?
I did, yes. It was amazing stuff.
It took me days to write them.
No, I'm
glad you liked
you.
them anyway.
Yeah, they're good.
Right, Alan, I've got a book, and I've just about finished it. It's all written up and everything. It just needs typed up.
Right.
And you've told us all I need to do is go to the university and find someone who will type it all up for us.
Uh-huh.
Now, what it is, I'm going to go into creative writing next year.
Great.
Now, this is inspires you because I've got another book I want to write as well. And it's all about the Northeast.
Uh-huh.
And, right, now the book I'm writing is called Rose.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the thing is, there's that many different things you can, avenues to go down. Now, the thing is some publishers are asking for £1,400 just to get your book. You make one payment, I think it's like something like £600 or £700, and you pay that, and you take care of it, they design it, colour it, they make it a paperback however you want it, and then you pay your second payment, and then it's on the shelves, and that's it. Now, I don't know what road to go down on because you've got.
Well, you've got to be
Amazon.
careful with that. Let me first of all say it's very difficult to get anything published now.
Right.
What used to happen, and this is only going back probably 20 years. If you go back a ways, you used to be able to go to a book company and say, right, I've written a book, have a read of it, do you like it? Do you think it's worth publishing? They'd say yes or no. If they said no, you'd get a little polite, well, I've read your book, I don't really think it's for us, but thanks for letting me read it, which is a nice way of saying, had a way, but at least they've had a look at it. Now it's very difficult for anybody, and I've written a couple of bestsellers. It's hard to get across the door because they say we're only looking for certainties now. Now, I don't know what a certainty is really. However, for people like yourself, what publishers do, they advertise, we'll get your book on the shelf. And what they mean is that you will pay for the publishing. You know, it's £1,000 or £1,400.
Yeah.
For £700, they'll guarantee they'll get you 200 books, and they'll say if you sell all 200 books, you get your money back, and you can make this and make that. The reality is, you'll not get them on the shelf at Waterstones or any of that. You'll get them on your shelf in your house. and you'll have to try and sell them the best you can. You might be able to persuade, like, local corner shops to have 2 or 3 copies on there. But to think that I'm going to be in libraries everywhere, I'm going to be at W.H. Smith's at the airport, none of that will happen. Essentially, you're paying to get your book published for you.
Right.
And if that's what you want, that'll cost you every time. And you won't... I'm not saying you won't ever make money. I'm just saying it would be really rare for you to make money, because if you've spent £1,400 on a book, and they've given you 100 copies, and you've had a look at the cover, and you're happy with the cover they've given you, and you've dedicated it to your mum or your friend or your somebody that you care for.
Yeah.
You give 2 or 3 of them away to your family, like you do.
Yeah.
They've sold you 200, say.
Right.
What do you do with them?
Exactly. It's found in the outlet, isn't it?
That's the thing. Now, you could say, well, I'll sell them at car boot sales, but
Right.
if you go to a car boot sale, you don't look at a car booty place that's only got one book. You go to the place that's got 50 different books, and some of them are only 5p and 20p and 30p, and for you to get your money back, you'd have to sell them for about 15, 20 quid a book. Who are the booties going to pay that? So that's not an option. As I say, you could go to places locally, like Waterstones, who might say to you, look, we'll put a couple on the shelves and see what happens. But they're not going to say, oh, give us 50. We'll buy them off you now, because they don't know who you are and they don't know whether anybody would be interested, and nobody's publicising them. You're not going to get a full-page advert in the Daily Mirror saying, buy Ian from Bladen's new book called Rose. It's all about this. That would be lovely. What you really need is a publisher who likes your book and is prepared to print it and give you money for it. It shouldn't be that you give them money for your work. They should give you money for your work. And the other people who will print stuff for you, they call it vanity publishing, which means you want a book that you can say to people, I've written a book and here it is. Well, you have written a book and you've paid to have it published, because no proper publisher would do it. And it's not as good as... What I would want for you is for you to... Because you can write. I've already read the stuff that you can do. What you really need is a publisher to believe in it. So what I would do is, I would go down to your local bookstore, whichever one you choose,
Right.
go to the section that centres... If it's a book about about being a psychic, say, look at the psychic section and write down the name of all the publishers. All their addresses are on there. Write down the name and address of the publisher, and then send a copy or a chapter of your book off to all of the book publishers that do psychic kind of things, and say, I'm a psychic, are you interested in this? Because at least then you'll know which ones might stand a chance to take your book on. I would rather you were paid for doing a job, rather than you give your hard-earned money to somebody else. I mean, it's like, I'll give you everything I've written and I'll give you money. Whoa. No. If you write for somebody, you should get money back. That's how it works. So be very careful with those vanity ones. And yes, they will do a book for you. I'm sure it'll be a very nice book. But if they're not a publisher in the same way, like, well, we'll put you in shops and stores and all of that. They just put your book together, write it out, make sure it's spelt properly, and send you, say, 100 or 200 copies, whatever the deal is. But they don't send it out. It's like I'm buying 200 copies of my own book. That's what you're doing. So just be really careful with it, man, all right?
Yeah, I'll do that on. Thanks very much.
No worries. Good talking to you, Ian. Thank you for coming on, man.
Again.
All the best. Bye-bye. Now, we have a competition for you. There is a very famous song that you all know, that you have all sung. All year you sing this, but particularly we have a habit of loving it around New Year. I'm going to give you 4 clues about 4 of the things that's in it. Okay? The first one, something that circles the planet over and over and over again. What do you call something? Could be anything that circles the planet over and over and over again. What do you call that? There's a word for it. Write down that word, because that's in this song. 3 more clues to come, and if you get the clues right, tonight I'm going to give you the chance to win Simon Webb's album. Very nice indeed, The Man from Blue, plus the 2 books about the craze, because we're talking to somebody about the craze a little bit later on. 2 books about the craze and Simon Webb. That is our prize tonight. If you can solve our song feature, see if you can. Talking about songs, it's an amazing honour for somebody from the back streets of the West End of a city to be sitting in a studio like this, and over the years to have faced people like Tina Turner and Bruce Springsteen and Chris Rea and Amy Winehouse. I don't know what I really thought about Amy Winehouse before I met her, and we got on, and it was a lovely thing to behold. You can hear the interview just before. The interview was just before she passed, and she did a song for me, and it was one of her all-time classics.
Let's do Back to Black.
Can we do Back to Black without the middle section? Without the blacks? So I'll just go, I go back to...
I think if we change anything now, we're prone to making another mistake.
Oh, how about instead of, the second section where I go back to black, instead of going black, I just go black and...
Oh, instead of going into the slow section?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
just
yeah.
Black. Right. Baba Black.
Here we go. All right, then. Here we go.
He left no time to regret. Kept his dick wet with his same old safe bet. Me in my head high, in my tears dry. Get on without my guy. Yo, I went back to what you know. So far removed from all that we went through. And I tread a troubled track. My odds are stacked. I'll go back to black. We only said goodbye with words. I died 100 times. You go back to her and I go back to us. I love you much. It's not enough. You love blow and I love puff. And life is like a pie, and I'm a tiny penny rolling up the walls inside. We only said goodbye with words. I died 100 times. You go back to her and I go back to. We only said goodbye with words. I died 100 times. You go
about that? That's just part of your greatest hits Christmas. We are heading inexorably towards the 25th. We got so much we're going to be sharing with you over the next few weeks too. Talking to Chris the Trucker from Wallsend after this, and talking to Amy Winehouse a little bit later in that amazing, exclusive, but kind of tragic chat.
The voice of the North.
Alan Robson's Night Owls, the phone-in that gets you talking.
Greatest hits radio.
And don't forget, if you want to find out whether the Christmas hit that you think is the greatest Christmas song of all time, whether it makes the top 10, top 20, top 30 Christmas songs, tomorrow morning from 9 o'clock, Rossi is going to be playing another 9 massive Christmas songs as voted for by your good self. So what's going to be the winner? You see, if I had to pick one genuinely, it's in the playlist for tonight. Bruce Springsteen's live version of Santa Claus is coming to town. I think it's amazing. Great sax break from Clarence in there. Fabulous. But I quite like some of the Christmas songs that are not quite in the mainstream. I thought Stevie Nicks does a version of Silent Night, which is just to die for. There's some tremendous additional tunes, but we'll try and share some of them with you across the weeks to come. Anyway, you have your first clue for our competition for our book and CD prizes. Let us crack on, and don't forget you can text Alan, A-L-A-N, plus your message to 61054 if you fancy. Chris the Trucker's on the line. Hello, Chris.
Hello, Alan.
Good man. Thank you for ringing in. What you got for me?
Well, I'd like to say Johnny Mathis is my favourite, When a Child is Born.
All right, with that bit. When a child is born. No, exactly what you... But it's one of them that, even if you're not particularly religious, hits a spot, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a good one.
I get you, you big slaver. Right, okay. What else then?
Right, I'm ringing about bad presents.
Oh, right, okay. Last year, I was sat and I was in the living room with the girlfriend and our family, and we had all the presents under the tree, and there was a box under the tree, right,
all nicely wrapped up, about sort of 2 foot by 3 foot, and about 6 inches deep or so.
Oh, that's a lovely. That's a teasing sort of shape.
It was a good size.
Yeah.
It was a good size. So I was thinking, oh, that's got to be something brilliant, that.
Yeah.
And so we finally got round to opening the presents, and I peeled the paper off, and it was just like a plain brown box with sort of Chinese writing on the side.
Right.
And I was like, "Ooh, what's this then?"
Exotic.
So there wasn't any clues on the outside of the box. So I opened the box up and pulled out the contents, and it turned out to be a pillow.
Oh, wow, blimey, that's... I didn't know where that was going, but it went to a place where even I thought, oh.
Yeah.
Right, and that's probably what you thought as well. I mean, why?
My face must have painted a picture, because even though I said thank you and I was trying to be as polite as possible, my girlfriend turned around to us and said, that, I'll have you know, is a very expensive pillow, and it's not orthopedic, that's not the right word. It's like a medically...
Yeah, it's
beneficial, medically beneficial pillow type thing.
Had you been whinging about...
No, not particularly.
No?
I haven't mentioned anything about pillows, anything like that, because she got it for me, obviously being a truck driver, she got it for the truck.
All right, I see.
For us to use in the truck.
That is thoughtful, but
it was thoughtful, but it
I would imagine the difference between her spending a lot of money on that and you folding up your sweatshirt. Probably, there's not much between the two, I'm guessing.
No. And I mean, it's not like she had a history of bad presents. A couple of years earlier, she'd bought us an Xbox. So
okay, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah. But needless to say, we're not together anymore.
Right, but this wasn't just purely over the pillow, I'm hoping.
It wasn't purely over the pillow, though. There was other things that went on, but it was the start of things, I'd say.
So yeah, this is a firing a warning shot. over any other women that's out there buying for a man. Don't think too deeply about men want pillows and stuff. Don't think too deeply. But you get it wrong, you could lose your man. That's what we're talking about here. That's what it sounds like. I mean, have you ever got it wrong when buying for somebody else, a family member, a friend, or a girlfriend?
I'm sure I probably have, but yeah, I'm sure I have, but I've never heard any.
Well, the thing about the pillow, though, is it's such a good shape, and you'd be thinking, is it a computer game? Is it another computer setup? I could imagine you thinking, oh, she's really gone out for me this time. Look at that. And for weeks, you'll be looking at it under the tree thinking, oh, I don't know what it is, though. Maybe he's having a little shake. It's a pillow.
Yeah, I mean, it was quite weighty, to be fair, so I was thinking maybe laptop or something like that, but
right.
Yeah, pillow.
In a way, I kind of like her thinking because, you know, you're in a truck all the time. But I still think no matter... This is the equivalent, I think, because women always say, don't buy me cooking equipment for Christmas. That's work.
Yeah.
And kind of pillow sort of falls under work. And if you really wanted a pillow, you could probably buy a couple of pillows for coppers in the great scheme of things.
Yeah, well, I was using just some cheapy pillows in a pillowcase, and that was doing it fine. But yeah, so I got this pillow anyway.
Well, that's the one to beat, Night Owls. Can you beat Chris the Trucker's pillow? Excellent. Anything else then, Chris?
Not that I can think of.
Good, man. Hey, great to hear from you. All the best, man. Thanks again.
Cheers, Al.
Stay safe out there. It's getting frosty. Who is not just a snowman. 0191 488 3188. Ben Mabon says the worst present I got, socks. I always get socks. I've got loads of socks. I don't need them, but I'm still going to get more socks. Yeah, there you go. That's Ben. And socks, common one for dads. I feel sorry for dads a lot. Dads getting bad presents at Christmas. It used to be the choice of two. You get your dad either a tie, and we're not so into ties as much these days, or socks. And prior to that, it was hankies or socks. Oh, I'll tell you what, I'll get a hanky with his initial on it. Really? Now we try to use paper tissues. Because do you really want a handkerchief in your pocket that you've sneezed into 150 times before washing it? I don't think so. 0191 488 3188. We have Alison, who is in Anfield Plain. Hello, Alison.
Hi there, Alan. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you kindly. I gather you've had a worst present as well.
Oh,
but
yes,
it kind of flipped. It kind of started off as the worst, but ended up being the best. Now, that is a puzzlement to me, so tell me the whole story.
Well, I'll have to set the scene a little bit as well first.
All right.
It was my first Christmas with my current husband.
Right.
But we weren't married then. Literally, it was our first Christmas together.
Right.
So I was quite excited. We got together, and he was like completely different background to mine. He was a southerner for the start of it. So, and he talked about his ex-girlfriends, and he used to get like Le Boutons and things like that for Christmas. And I was like, so you can imagine Christmas was coming, and I was starting to get really excited because he hadn't mentioned anything about gifts. Where normally you talk about it a little bit, but he hadn't mentioned anything.
Right.
So it gets to Christmas morning, and we sat there. And I had a lovely big pile. It was all wrapped beautifully, and all the family were around and everything. So sitting there, and I opened my first present, and it was a set of home base value screwdrivers. And it wasn't like not even good ones. It was home base value in the white and orange packet.
Right.
So I kind of smiled and I thought, right, okay, there's obviously a bit of a joke like going on here. So I thought, right, get to the next one. And I was like, oh, thanks. And he was like, oh, well, you said you wanted like you wanted some tools of your own, and I was like, okay, thanks.
You see, now this is where women have got to be careful what you say, because we are, especially from about July onwards, we're thinking, just pay attention. If ever she says she wants anything, put it to one side, perfect for Christmas. Yeah, I could do with some tools of my own. Whoop, and there you go. You got what you said.
He was playing that game perfectly. So carried on opening them, and every single one was home-based value tools.
Oh, no.
Just fill a toolbox. There was spanners. And then the big one was value drill, cordless drill. Wasn't even like a Bosch or something. It was a home-based value drill. And at this point, I was using the will to live.
Right.
I was looking at him thinking, thanks. And my voice, like my mum says, my voice was trembling because I was thinking, like, oh my God.
Because you were hearing about previous girlfriends with Louboutin and all this kind of posh stuff.
Yep, so I was absolutely, and I had one present left. And I thought, oh, he's set it all up. He's done it, so there's just one special present. So I started opening this present thinking, right, this is it. Opened it up, and it was a Terry's chocolate orange. And he jumped up, and he was like, well, everybody gets, like, a Terry's chocolate orange for Christmas, and, like, that's great. It's like, and he went to give us a hug and, like, said, do you like your presents? And I was like, yeah. Like, they're great, thank you very much.
How can you like your... I'm a bloke and I wouldn't want... I'm a bloke and I wouldn't be happy for all of that, and none at all. So what happened then?
Well, I was nearly in tears by this point.
Yeah.
And he was like, are you not going to have a bit of your Terry's chocolate orange? And I was like, well, and he was like, come on, you've got to share it. And I thought, oh, well, at least I can get rid of it because I don't like them. So
right.
I started opening this box, and it was all sealed properly and everything. And I thought, well, I've never had one before because I don't like them. So I didn't really know what to do with it.
Right.
And I went to open it up, and it was all like thing. And he says, oh, you've got to, like, tap it on the top.
Right.
So I was tapping it on the top, and I turned round. And as the Terry's chocolate orange opened, he was down on one knee, and there was a beautiful diamond ring inside the Terry's chocolate orange, and he asked me to marry him.
Boom! That's brilliant. How clever is that? He gets you to hate him.
Yep.
Yeah, he gets you to hate him, thinking all these other Dorises that he's been with have got all this posh stuff, and I'm looking like I've got a season ticket to Screwfix, and here we go. And then he pulls it out the fire. That's brilliant, though.
Because I was thinking, I just think I'm, like, worth a home-based, like, value drill. That's all I'm worth to him.
You're a home value screw. What a shame. What a shame. But I tell you, he pulled it out the fire at the end. Well done.
He really did. It was like, I couldn't believe it. I felt so emotionally drained by the time I finished.
You'd be probably so relieved as well that there was something there that you wanted.
Well, it was. It was like I couldn't stop shaking because I was like, I just was so gutted, and I was like trying not to cry, but I was trying to be like really grateful as well, because you've got to be, haven't you? You've got to, like, oh, thanks, another screwdriver, brilliant,
amazing.
So yeah.
Fantastic.
So yes, that was 9 years ago. So
well, we asked you to beat his pillow. You've done that in spades. Well done, Alison. That's a fantastic story. Tremendous. Thanks for coming on. Good girl.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Ali. Bye-bye. And she tremendous with that. I think we'll have a little bit of music, and it's quite in keeping, really. I mentioned that Bruce Springsteen tune because we are entering December, hence a Greatest Hits Christmas on its way, especially for you. There's two versions of him singing this live. One's amazing and one's really good. Don't know which one this is, but I hope I picked the right one. Yeah, it was my favourite version. There's two, you got to be careful, because one's like 9.5 out of 10, and that one's a good solid 12. Santa Claus is coming to town. Bruce Springsteen, the boss himself. And don't forget that tomorrow at about 9 o'clock, the greatest Christmas hit of all time will be announced as voted by you guys. And if you can manage to get up even earlier than that, 8 o'clock, Christmas Cash Superstars. Chance for you to make a little bit of cash on there as well. So might as well use it while it's there. It'll be a nice start for your Christmas. Anne sent this in. Alan, one of the best Christmas presents I had was a tiny house plant bought by my daughter when she was 8. It lasted 30 years and almost reached the ceiling. I bought a night in for my granddaughters and their boyfriends. I'll explain. I got wine, beer, crisps, nibbles, nuts, couple of DVDs, playing cards and a board game, and they loved them. And also, thanks for the advice on getting a book published. I tried, and the cheapest price was 400 quid. It's a non-fiction about Portugal. Never thought of getting publishers' names from the non-fiction book section. And my favourite Christmas song has to be Fairy Tale in New York, as you know me. Bah humbug. And I agree, classic. And I love it when you put two outfits together that shouldn't work but really do. Mind you, I did hear Michael Bublé singing over the top of a lump of Bing Crosby's White Christmas and thought he should have left Bing alone, in my opinion. But there you go. Let us crack on. We have Paul from Cramlington next. Hello, Paul.
Oh, you all right?
Yes, good, mate. What are you talking about tonight?
I'm a first-time caller.
Hey, get in there.
I'm nervous. I'm not.
Good.
We're talking about the Cooperage.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've got a few tales about the Cooperage, and I'll get on to the thing about what's going on with how they're not doing it up.
Yeah.
I used to go to the Cooperage in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, it was an eclectic mix. You had your punks, your goths, you had bikers, you had skins, rude boys, new romantics, psychobillies, you name it. Right?
Yeah.
I never saw a spot of bother in there. You know, upstairs where it used to be open until 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that's where everybody threw themselves around.
I never saw a spot of bother in there. Now, the first time I walked in there with my mates, we were sort of like gothish at the time.
Right.
We had been like original punks and teddy boys, but we sort of went along the original goth route, you know?
Okay.
Not the way they are now.
No.
With the long leather coats and clumpy boots. Anyway, we went in there this night, and I walked in, and I went to the bar, and there was a sea of black leather bait jackets. Keep big bikers, and I'm stood there. I'm quite small, punk rocker, right? And I thought, oh, Jesus. And one of the biggest ones turned around and looked at us, right? And I thought, I'm going to die here. He said, do you want to be at the bar, mate? I said, aye. It was probably quite squeaky. Aye. It was probably quite squeaky. And they opened like the Red Sea. They parted like the Red Sea and let us into the bar.
Brilliant.
I thought, champion. And I don't know whether it was the same night. It was round about the time when I wasn't too sure about the place. I went to the toilet on my own, as you do.
Yeah.
I went in, there's two beggars there, and I'm thinking, right, this is it. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen in here, near witnesses. And they stood and chatted away.
Yeah.
You know? And I never had a bad night in there. Never had a bad night in there. You know, we used to go to the Barley Moor, the Broken Doll was the same type of mix.
Yeah.
You know, the farmers. You had everybody in there.
Did you ever do the Man in the Moon?
Oh, aye.
Man in the Moon, and the other one that I used to go to was the back of the Turk's Head, down that little alley. They used to have a thing called the Vaults, and they played kind of rock music till the early hours. Yeah, brilliant.
Aye.
Happy days, man.
The Broken Doll, the Dog and Parrot.
Yes.
The Barking Dog.
Yeah, but the thing is,
in all them places, and like I tell you, we were all the alternative mob, you know.
Yeah.
Varied mix of people.
But you never got any hassle at all. This is the thing. If for those people that went to the Mayfair.
Yeah, I used to go to the Mayfair.
I mean, there was you'd have a total mixture, and sometimes you'll get a band that had a weird kind of following where there was maybe rude boys and rockers like the same band.
Yeah, exactly.
And there was never any hassle.
Yeah, there was never any hassle anyway. So that's a couple of me tales. I used to work at a place just up from the Cooperage. It was called the Fair Place. So I'll mention a bloke who ran it. I think he listens.
Right.
Arthur Bosworth. It was called the Fair Place, and obviously we used to put fireplaces in stone, brick. You know, while the joiner that did the wooden ones.
Right.
Friday afternoons, you'd say, right, lads, however, we're gonna go on up the Cooperage, have a couple of pints downstairs, you know,
right,
in the bar, and he seemed to forget his wallet every now and then. You know, it was payday for us, so we'd end up buying the beers.
Right.
I'm just gonna shout out, yeah, Arthur, you listening?
And he'd get his money back.
Aye. You know, I'm not saying he was Arthur Daly or not like that, but nah, I will. He was a bit Arthur Daly-ish. Nice bloke, but you know, you had to watch him. You had to keep an eye on him. Anyway, getting on to what's happening with the Cooperage.
Right. Well, there's a campaign out to save it. Obviously.
Yeah, I'm on the page.
We've talked to the people that's doing it after they came on this show, and they put a press release out, not just for us but for everybody.
Yeah.
Presumably, a lot of the press have been asking, and they've said we're now hoping to do it up so that we can turn it into a building that everybody can use, but they were non-specific, and we know that the big problem was noise menace from, people commenting that there were too much noise.
Points I'm going to bring up.
Noise, but I'm sorry, where they are on the quayside, anybody who doesn't expect noise from one of the busiest.
Exactly. I mean, I've got Google Maps up in the minute, so I'm well prepared. I used to be a designer, right? So I like to be well prepared.
Right.
They've got the quayside bar opposite them.
Yeah, absolutely. So
with the outdoor area. Now you can't tell me in the summer that people sit out there and they're quiet.
No.
They've also got the Travel Lodge opposite them.
Yes.
Newcastle was voted 7th best party city in the world.
Yeah.
People love to come here. It's a lovely compact city. We've got all sorts going on. The history and this, that, and the other. And we're well known to be friendly, generally.
Yeah, but I do think the only thing that they needed, as far as I can tell, was double glazing. And I know they said,
that's what I was going to say.
And as long as they put, and they may want to keep the original windows, but you can still put another type of glass on the inside.
That's what I was going to say.
And that will keep the sound in.
Yeah, they could put in triple glazing, pull it back from the original windows, so it's not noticeable.
Yeah.
There's a lot of acoustic products you can put in behind the plasterboard.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but if you buy an apartment on the quayside next to a licensed premises, what do you expect?
Yeah.
You can't tell me that the people that come up here for hen nights and stag do's and that, they'll be stopping in the Travel Lodge. You can't tell me they get out taxis and they're quiet when they get out.
No, but on top of that, I've always thought that even if you're going to stay at a cheapy motel, hotel, B&B, whatever, you pick a one suitable for you, and that's not right in the middle of the busiest area in a town.
Exactly.
If because you can get a Travel Lodge on the outskirts. You can get one if you get on a metro and head in any direction. You can find a Travel Lodge.
Yeah, it's a small compact city.
Yeah.
But the ones in the apartments complaining about the noise from the pubs, what do they want to do? Close it all down.
Well, I don't know about you, but when I've stayed in inner cities, and I've if you go to somewhere like London, Manchester, absolutely, Manchester's more fizzy than London. You expect it, and if you don't get that kind of city noise, you feel like you're almost missing out. I don't mind a bit of traffic. I don't mind the odd pub emptying out and a few kids shouting and yelling. It's part of the adventure, isn't it?
Exactly. And I mean, another thing I was going to bring up. I've got bullet points. I used to work as a spatial interior designer. I used to design nightclubs and this, that, and the other.
Right.
There's a way of getting around the acoustics. Right?
Right.
I mean, if they wanted to say, right, we're not going to have it open at 2 o'clock, we'll knock it off at 12. It's not like Spinal Tap up playing there where the amplifiers get up to 12. You know what I mean? Turn it down a little bit. It's not a problem. And if you want to live next to a bloody bar, which is it's local bloody heritage and history.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to put up with that. You've got to put up with a bit of that. Do your research. Don't move there.
I've always loved the Cooperage. It's always been one of my special places, and the times that I've been, and I've been a lot.
Yeah.
I can honestly say I've never had a bad time.
Exactly. I've had many a brilliant night out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Many a brilliant night.
Yeah.
And like I say, there was never any bother. But I think Newcastle City Council really need to get a compulsory purchase order.
Yeah.
Get that building. I mean, it's like I say, it's local heritage and history.
I agree.
What that's seen, right?
Oh, blimey,
absolutely. I mean, Bessie Surtees' house up the street, National Heritage, you got that.
Yeah.
Why can't they get involved?
Yeah, I would love to think so. It just seems that because somebody owns it.
Yeah.
People that usually hand them to the heritage, they hand them to the heritage because they can't afford to fix them.
Yeah.
The owner insists that they are able to bring it back, and
I've seen that.
Well,
I'll laugh at that.
Well, all I would say to them is show me then.
Exactly. I know from being a designer, if you're going to do something up, they're saying they've got plans, you have proposals. You have your plans, you have your visuals, you have your intent. You've got to go through all sorts of things to get get it signed off by the council and this, that, and the other, what you're going to do.
Yeah.
I know that for a fact. Licence and laws, you've got to go through all that.
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, it wasn't an existing bar, so that shouldn't be a problem. But, state of intent and everything. They haven't shown any evidence of that. I would have expected them to do that.
Right. Well, let's see. We give them a chance to come on if they want to talk to us about it. They tend to just put a document out to the press in general rather than specifics. But we would love specifics because it's one of those buildings that we love. Yeah. And we're not going to just shut down and stop talking about it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what's the next thing? Like the council turn around and say we're going to knock down the Castle Keep because it's ancient and we're going to put student accommodation in. No. We've got the Jesus, what is it? The Holy Jesus?
About every third other building
Hospital
student accommodation. If you think about it, though, we must be one of the major cities for student accommodation anywhere now.
Exactly, yeah.
Any building that you see is empty for a fortnight suddenly becomes studentified.
Yeah.
Hey, but Paul, lovely talking to you, man. I love your passion. Thanks for coming on.
Okay.
Appreciate it, mate, but all the best. He wants to preserve it. Do you? How do you feel about it? Going to take a quick break. And after that, I'm talking to Anonymous. And then we'll have that Amy Winehouse chat.
Night Owls with Alan Robson.
You never know who's going to call next.
Well, I do, because there's a sizable queue tonight. So thank you very much. First of all, I'll try my best to get as many of you on as we possibly can. The thing is, people start ringing on the Monday after night to say, this week we need to get on. And by the time the following Sunday comes along, you've already got this huge queue of people. So I will try and do my darndest to get you on. But we've got a lot of other things that we've already promised you, like the Amy thing. And Anonymous from Hetton. Hello, Anonymous.
Hello.
Hello there. What can we do for you tonight?
Oh, basically, I moved to Hetton to better my life and my children's life.
Right.
I applied for a house. I got a house quite quickly. I had to go to the housing benefit. I applied for housing benefit, which took me a little while because I'm hopeless on computers. Right. I had my friend with me. I had a letter 3 or 4 days later saying my housing benefit had been cancelled because I needed to go on universal credit. Now, I've got a house that's empty. I've got the house, it's empty, but they didn't inform me that I needed universal credit to get all the belongings in my house. Now,
right. I mean, so where have you come from that you've got nothing? Did you not have furniture where you lived before?
No, because I've got a lot of ill issues, and I had a disabled flat that was fully furnished by the local council that I was living at the time.
Right, okay.
But because I've done a bit of investigation before I moved up here, because I've got like kidney disease, I have mental health, I've got anxiety, depression. The national health up here and support was a lot better where I was living.
Right.
And the schooling, I've got 2 young girls, age 13 and age 12.
Oh, blimey.
They've only been here, we've been here since July. They started in September, and they've got awards, they've got merits. They have so many WOW points, and they have gold awards, bronze awards, silver awards. So everything's fantastic in that area. It's just
so what do you
the
need?
Housing benefit. They should have, because I was doing it on the computer, and they should have said on the computer, "Oh, housing benefit is not acceptable. You need to apply for universal credit." They didn't inform me that. They waited until I filled it out, and then got a letter, and they said that I'll be supported with white goods.
Yes. Yeah.
From the local council. That was the council. I've got a lady support worker working with me, and she said it's because of universal credit they're on hold. I've got them. I just can't get them because I need universal credit. I've got an appointment tomorrow. That was the earliest time that they can see me tomorrow. I'm going tomorrow for an appointment, hoping they release these goods.
Right, because
But
it's
as
standard
far
that
as
you
I
should.
know, you wait like 5-6 weeks without no money
Right.
on universal credit. So
No,
it's-
absolutely. But the white goods package should be automatic. You should get that
Yeah,
fairly
but
quickly.
it's all connected, and I'm in a predicament.
So have you managed though in the meantime when you haven't had a cooker and
I'm quite lucky. I've got a best friend, so I've been going from A to B to C, like sofa surfing.
Right.
And like my children are doing so well at school.
Good.
And like when they was at school, where we come from, my 13-year-old, I was told by a school report that I recently got one, saying if she had carried on, she'd have been in detention centre.
Right.
And since she's been here, her schooling has been fantastic.
Correct. I mean, what do you need in the short term? I mean, because hopefully the white goods thing will be sorted tomorrow. The finances with universal credit, it just takes what feels like a lifetime to sort it out.
It's just before Christmas as well. I was just hitting a brick wall every time, and because we listen to your show every night, I just it's worth.
I tell you what, I've got better than that. I'm going to ask Tony if he could pass your details across to Cash for Kids, because Cash for Kids look after children who fall through the net. Your bans look likely to be falling through the net. There's 2 of them. I'm sure Cash for Kids will be able to sort that out. Tony, can you make sure that we have a mention to Steph at Cash for Kids? We'll talk to Cash for Kids on behalf of the bans. In the meantime, anything else we can do for you?
No, as long as my kids are all right, that's all. And my kids, they got a nice house and they're doing really well at school. I'm fine.
Fine, right.
I'm fine.
Leave that with us. Hopefully you'll get a call over the next day or so from Cash for Kids, okay?
All right, thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome, Donna. We'll make sure that you're not wanting. Let's just put it that way. 01914 883 188. Amy Winehouse, yeah, and lover or hater, I think she's one of those people that brings that out. I just wanted to get to know her, see what made her click, and ended up with a little bit of fascination. Sad she's no longer with us, particularly when you hear that she was absolutely wide open to changing her life at the time we had this chat.
Hi, Amy.
Hello.
Hello, where are you from?
Where have I come from today?
No, where are you from?
I'm from Muswell Hill now in London, but I was living in Camden before that.
Now, I'm sure you'll think I have an accent. You have an accent too.
Yes.
And in the Northeast, my accent is considered common.
Yeah.
I'm presuming yours does where you come from.
Very common.
So was it a poor upbringing? What kind of kid were you?
No, I was just, I don't know, lower middle class. I don't know what. I'm not really good with classes.
Yeah.
But definitely wasn't poor, but definitely didn't have money to throw about.
Right.
Yeah.
So was that then your parents trying to get you to make some money then?
No, I've always had a really good work ethic. I went out. I didn't want to go to school. I started working when I was 15 because I just wanted to work.
Yeah.
And then I always had a job, really. I wasn't without a job. I just always wanted my own money. I didn't want to be dependent on anyone.
So what kind of stuff were you doing then?
First of all, I worked in a piercing shop. Then I worked...
Oh, then this begs the question.
Yeah.
Where have you been progged?
Where have I been what?
Progged, poked, pierced.
Oh, everywhere. Everywhere, really. They're all out now, but everywhere at some point.
Right.
And then, then I went to work to do journalism for a few years, and then the recording got too much, so I quit.
Right. So when did you realise that the talent that you had actually could start paying bills rather than needing another job?
I think when the guy that got me started off, Nicky Shemansky, I owe him everything.
Yeah.
And he said to me, I said to him, what do you want to do with this? And he goes, well, just give you studio time and whenever you want it. And I was like, why would someone want to do that? And he's like, because you'll make an album. And I was like, okay. I think that's when I realised, okay, I'm going to make a living off this and I don't have to go back to work.
And the weirdest thing is that on stage you always look hugely confident, but that obviously wasn't always the case.
No, I am. I'm very at home on stage, very, very at home, yeah.
Okay, so the big break, when did that happen? Or was that just getting the studio time was the break?
Yeah, that was pretty much it. I was singing jazz with the National Youth Jazz Orchestra, and he came to my first and only gig, really, and just said, well, let's work together, and that was it.
It's too easy.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to... I wanted to work with the National Youth Jazz Orchestra, but they weren't doing my kind of jazz, really.
Right.
It was very big bandy, and it kind of bored me a bit, and they weren't doing enough of the songs I loved. They wrote a lot of their songs. I just thought, no, jazz is so over.
Right. And yet it isn't, kind of now.
No,
There's lots of other people doing it.
No, not at all. There's my guitarist Robin. He's with me today. He plays in a wicked unit called Jazz Jamaica.
Yeah.
And there are a couple of members within that. Dennis Baptiste and Soweto Kinch. They're just still
doing good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to leave the music to one side, with the exception of the first thing that somebody said to me when it was mentioned you were coming in, is the song Rehab all about you?
Yeah, of course.
And I presumed that was kind of obvious.
Well, yeah, no, the whole album's very autobiographical.
Yeah. It's yet, first time I saw you, you were a round, curvy person.
Yeah.
You're now a hugely skinny person.
I was, if you want. Yeah, if you want. I don't know, I used to smoke weed all day and eat wrong times, never went to the gym. Now I take care of myself.
Are you a gym person now?
Yeah, man, I love it. I need it, I need it.
That's the fix now instead of anything else?
I'd rather go to the gym every morning than be on antidepressants. And I walk my dog a lot,
Yeah. And the song Rehab, obviously, they tried to get you to go.
Yeah.
And why did you fight it so much? Because rehab has helped a lot of people.
Yeah, but I know myself and I have to sort things out in my own head.
Right.
And if I can't, then I'm a much weaker person than I thought I was. It's happened so many times in my life at various stages and for various reasons. But I did go just because they said to me, if you don't go, we'll come back for you tomorrow and take you. Right. So I went down there and the man said, why do you think you're here? I said, because I drink a lot. He said, why? I said, because I'm depressed, I'm in love and I messed it up. And he said, well, the reason I work here is because I am an alcoholic. And I just thought, oh, here we go.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was it. And then he said to me, do this form, write this form out. I said, how long is it going to take? He said, half an hour. I was just like, oh, mate, no. No. I went because they were twisting my arm to go.
Yeah, yeah.
I think for the record company would have been a bit more satisfied because I'd gone to see someone in a preliminary way. If I can't have faith in myself, if I can't sort myself out, no one can.
Right.
But it is good for some people, yeah.
Yeah, it is. You sound bolshy. Are you naturally bolshy? Hard to handle?
No, I'm not hard. I can get on with anyone. I can spend a year in a matchbox with absolutely anyone. I'm a very domesticated, mothering person.
Yeah. Just you don't like to be pushed around.
I'm just very straightforward.
And driven? Driven?
Yeah, I mean, when I've got stuff to be driven for, yeah.
Right,
yeah.
Okay. Well, I want to talk about, like, dafter things, frankly, because they're more fun, and you talk about bollocks all day, don't you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So first thing is, what's the worst thing that's ever happened to your body? I want an accident, an operation, blood, guts and squealing and pain.
The worst things ever happened to my body. I winded myself on a washing machine once. I fell off a fence. I was climbing over the garden fence and I fell on a washing machine and I was just like, I walked staggered in. I was like, there was a time I fell out of bed and I broke both my wrists.
Oh, whoa.
That was just really bad.
Right, I was going to say, that must have been fairly passionate if you fall out of bed so hard that you break both your wrists.
No, I had a bunk bed and I was a kid
right,
and I just fell forward onto my hands.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. What are you frightened of? What are you scared of? Got an irrational fear of any kind?
No, I'm scared of... I used to be scared of dying without having left my mark on anything, but I've done 2 albums now that I'm really proud of, so that's all right. I'm scared of not being able to have kids. That really scares me.
Yeah?
That's something that I do think about.
Right. Why? Because you got bags of time, haven't you?
Yeah, but I'm just scared that one day I'll do a Sharon Watts and be like, Grant, I can't have kids. It worries me.
So blame EastEnders for your phobia there.
Yeah.
Okay, next thing is, have you ever seen a ghost or had a strange, spooky anything?
Yeah, all the time. All the time.
What's the most vivid?
I used to walk. I never straight on.
Yeah.
But I used to walk into my friends' houses all the time and just be like, "Don't be alarmed," but there's someone there. You never see it straight on. You see it at the corner of your eye.
That's true.
I'm like, there's someone there, and they're very nice and blah blah blah. I see it all the time. My nan was a white witch.
Right.
So it's always around, always around.
I'm an exorcist.
Oh, yeah.
Coincidentally. However, you can only ever see the dark things from the corners of the sides of your eyes. So anyway, you got it. Okay, next thing is, anybody that's ever worked on stage has had a weird fan story. Either somebody in the audience who's kind of odd and distracts you, or they cross the line after a show.
No. Oh, that's never happened.
No?
But stuff like after the show, the bands are like, God, did you see all them girls? I'm like, what? They're like, they were just staring. All the girls wanted to have sex with you. You could see it in their faces. I'm like, shut up. Like, you see that in your mind's eye, yeah. But I get like a lot of couples kissing. That's really nice.
Well, that's sweet.
Yeah, it's really nice. I like it.
Unless you've got a broken heart at the time, which kind of makes it a bit...
No, it makes it better.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's good stuff out there as well as bad
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, well said. Okay, next thing is, we want a kind of odd question. What's the best and worst moment that you've had so far? Because I know you've had a lot of...
In my career?
Yeah, best and worst moment.
The worst moment is probably people assuming things about you, like that you think you're a big girl. They're like, oh, look at her, you're that singer. I live in Camden. There's a lot of people that are on drugs, and all the time they're like, what happened to you? You dropped off. I'm just like, oh mate, go away.
Yeah.
But the best thing is, there's been countless best things, like when I'm watching Carleen Anderson from the side of the stage, or when I finish in Amsterdam and the Roots go on the stage after me, or it's just every gig I ever play is one of the best moments.
Yeah.
And I just, I'm so grateful for everything that I get given or that comes my way.
Sounds though that just on the streets with people with you, tempting you the wrong way, or just giving you crap essentially, you still got a bit of that.
Yeah.
Can't be. You must have to fight pretty much every day.
No, but I don't even hear it. I'm not a negative person, so it just water off a duck's back.
Good,
so I don't even hear it, really.
Yeah, good luck.
It's just irritating.
Tell me about it. You are a book to read in bed, apparently. You are well painted.
Yeah.
Why so many tats?
I don't know. They're addictive, aren't they? What, your fella in the other room is making me laugh. Look. Oh, you missed it? No, he's still doing it. He's like going like that.
He's a dancing boy.
Funny.
Just ignore him.
Why all the tattoos? I don't know. They're addictive, and I like pictures, and I like nice pictures to look at. My ex-boyfriend had a lot, so it kind of, you just get to be around someone a lot who it just beautifies them a little bit more.
Now, without stripping naked, I can see the woman on your arm. What else have you got everywhere else?
I've got Daddy's girl and a horseshoe on above her.
Yeah.
I've got my grandma Cynthia and some hearts.
Uh-huh.
Then I've got my ex-boyfriend's name on my chest.
Right.
I've got a Betty Boop. I've got my new boyfriend's initials on my finger with a heart.
Right.
I've got an anchor on my
Fortunately,
stomach.
it's not the middle finger, so I think you'll be all right.
And I've got an anchor on my stomach, and an eagle on my back, and that's about it.
Is there more to come?
So that's about... No, I don't, not for a few months anyway. I know it's such a lie, but...
Just next time you pass a tattoo shop and clock something, then you're going to be back again.
I think what will happen is I'll get stuff done to these ones, more detail.
Right, flash them out of it.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the long-term target for you now? Because you wanted to make your mark.
Yeah.
You've 2 albums in. I think you've done the strongest work you've ever done here.
Thank you very
Congratulations. So where do you want it to go? What will satisfy you? And I know you're going to want to keep working, but is there a holy grail that Amy Winehouse is working towards?
I don't know. I want to make 2 or 3 more albums and then make 3 EPs within a year.
Right.
Which is easy enough. Then the record company can release them as and when they want, if I just do the work. Then I want to have some kids, and then I want to go and live in Vegas and play gigs for the rest of my life.
That'd be great. So technically now that you're off the juice, you should become Amy Diet Cokehouse then, should you?
No, I still drink, but that wasn't a problem. I was just depressed. I still drink all the time. I got slaughtered last night. But it's within moderation, and... when I wake, what's important to me is my frame of mind. If I wake up and my first thought is, let's go running, rather than where can I go and get a bottle of vodka from at 11 in the morning, then it's fine. It's absolutely fine. It's about what else I'm doing it with. I'm working hard at the minute, so it's fine.
You've got everything going the right way anyway.
Yeah.
Good lass. Well, thank you very much for coming in. Appreciate
Thank you for
that.
having me.
You're welcome.
There you go. My chat with Amy Winehouse. Hope you enjoyed it. The song that just happens to be next on the playlist is ironic, I suppose. But I haven't given you your second clue yet, so you'll get that first. Clue number one. Remember, all of the answers to the 4 clues feature in a very famous song. You've got to tell me the name of that song. The first clue is something that circles the planet over and over again is called a what? Second clue, James Brown's massive hit about his libido. Okay? James Brown's massive hit about his libido. 2 clues down, 2 more clues to come, and talk about irony. The sound of the police. Tony Best's been on Trusty Taxi Driver. He says, I always had a dislike of Amy Winehouse, but I think I judged her by the way she looked in her drug habit. But after hearing that interview, I'm wondering if I was wrong. She seemed to be a better person than I thought she would be. I try not to judge people as they get older, but some of them are just a-holes. There you go. Tony, I think when Amy is concerned, I think I probably had a prearranged version of what I thought she was going to be like. And she was actually really quite canny. And common, but in a Cockney way. And that's different from Cockney in a northern way. Because we understand common in a northern way, don't we? We understand that whole thing. And there's an awful lot of people that don't like common in a northern way. And when you realise, but that's just what common sounds like in that particular part of London, they're not a zillion miles away from us, are they? Let's face it. Message. Alan, are these new shows available online anyway? I always fall asleep and have to wait a whole week for the next one. Yes. Search Alan Robson's Night Owls on YouTube. You'll get the chat highlights only, no music. And obviously, if you want some ghostly adventures or any of the amazing trips that we've made around the world, you can go to robsonsworld.com. There's a whole host of stuff there for you, plus photographs of ghosts and a timeline so you can see all the stuff that we've done over the years. Lots of things. And don't forget, of course, the podcast, The Grizzly Tale, Alan Robson's Grizzly Tale. Go where you go for podcasts. It's there. Spread the word of the owl, definitely, in all directions. Now, a bit earlier on, I was telling you that there's a requirement, apparently, for milkmen. There's a distinct shortage. So when you find a milkman, you know, you should treat him well. Ladies and gentlemen, from Washington, UK, it's Davy the Milkman. Hi, Davy!
Well, hey, Mr. Robson.
Hello, man. It's good. How are you? You all right?
Well, yeah, champion.
Good stuff.
I knew you'd come to me when you were talking about common folk. Aren't you playing that message in a bottle? I've just had a message in a bottle.
Where did you leave it?
Please shut the gate. Keep the birds out.
Brilliant.
Oh, man. You all right now?
I'm champion, man. Thank you. What you got for me tonight then, Davy?
Well, just bits and bobs. Like, you're on about, like, a shortage of milkmen.
Yeah, apparently so.
Well, yeah, our company's been taking interviewing and taking quite a few lads on, and the normally has to be about 5 hours or something. A couple of days and that's it. Like
there's no way I can do that. No, having seen what you do for a living, and we went out with Davy, and I was fortunate enough to essentially stay pretty much in the van, and Davy was like running like a racehorse up and down these streets, and you're thinking this is probably the best workout anybody could have. I mean, forget the gym. It's woof, you're like a whippet in all directions.
All the time, like aye.
But
I tell you what, I've been out 4 times a neat mind.
Have you?
Like
ice,
just ice, slipping, sliding.
Nasty.
Oh, it's a nightmare when you're carrying glass. It's so dangerous. So
no, absolutely.
extra time of the night, like.
Snowshoes. I have to get you some snowshoes, Davy.
Aye, them ones with the spikes in. Well, I'm gonna wear my football boots the rest of the week. My old football boots. The shin pads you need, because the amount of times, you'll not believe this, amount of times you walk between two cars and you whack your shins on somebody's, what pulls caravans.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Aye, when you didn't have to say, you're just like, what the hell?
Nasty.
Oh, the shin, that's probably the worst bone in the world you could bang like your shin. Isn't it?
If you say so, Davy.
Aye. Oh, that reminds us of I was doing the milk with Kev Bruce, one of the lads, up at Prudder, right? And we were just driving along, he goes, Davey, look left. There was this wife dancing around a bedroom with a curtain wide open, not a stitch on, right? She seen us, and she ran to grab the curtains, and she must have brayed her knees off the bed, and she tripped out. She was upside down with her legs was in the air, trying to shut the curtains. Honest to God.
Because the say tune was see, because in reality, if anybody leaves the curtains open, it's almost like there's a stage. And people outside see it just because it's all lit up, so you see everything, don't you?
We get classed as the floorboards for looking. You see some woman out on, you're like, what the hell?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a difference between just casually noticing and parking up the van and watching while you have your sandwiches.
Oh, man. I've been making a documentary with the BBC One.
Right, oh, brilliant.
Aye, it's going to be on in March, called Night Force.
That's brilliant. Congratulations.
Aye. So they've been out filming like for the last few months and that, you know.
But I'm presuming during filming you've not been pooing on doorsteps or any of the usual stuff that you do.
No, I've been behaving myself.
Because that would have been night farce, I suppose, as opposed to night force. Well, we'll look forward to that. We'll look forward to seeing it, Derry.
No, what I'm seeing is that they might want to pop by and like catch you talking to me while I like send a film crew to you and a film crew with me.
Right, if you want me to get involved,
if
that's
you're up for that, because I've done it with BBC Two. I've got Jeremy Vine on.
All right. Jezza.
He was up first.
No, Jeremy's a good lad. He's a good lad, and he loves the night owls as well. That's right.
Aye, definitely.
There you go. Hey, happy days.
Oh, well, it's gotta be a good laugh. Like
the
cameraman was with us the other night, you know, and it was lashing it to him. And he goes, he says, "I'm sorry." Like he says, "I'm gonna get in the van." He says, "How do you do this?"
Absolutely.
I said, "You just track on, man. It's out."
Not a question. I mean, but when we saw what you did and the amount of distance that you ran, and I was thinking, I'm going to run down this street behind him and just see what it takes just to do one. And this is one street, and they weren't particularly long streets. It was just the speed you were going at, and sometimes you'd get the milk and then you'd run all the way back to the van to run all the way back to the bottom of the street again, and it's like because sometimes you kind of get the van down some side street.
Down some of the streets, like, you know what I mean.
And I ran down halfway, and I thought, stuff. This is just halfway. Let's stuff this for a game. I'm back to the van with me mint imperials. That's I tell you. I'll wait here.
I don't know. You've seen the new Rambo yet?
I haven't. Is it great?
Brilliant.
Is it?
Brilliant.
Oh, I knew it would be.
I put it on par with First Blood, me, like.
Really? Oh, I saw the promos for it, and I had one afternoon that I could go and get to see it, and something cropped up on that very day, and I was kicking myself. Now I'm going to have to wait, I presume, till it comes out on
January,
Sky or one of the videos. Damn it.
But if you think they're going to Mexico for your holidays, there's nobody left.
How's the family, Davy?
Oh, champion, spot on. Ashley's she's doing well.
Great, that's good.
And Harvey's at university and still designing the kitchens at being due.
That's great. Hey,
aye, so they
love to
really
them
well.
all. Keep in touch, Davy.
I will definitely. I tell you what, I told Chris before. The vans I've been using over the last month have been crap, and the radio hasn't even worked. I can't even get FM on them.
Oh, blimey.
But they've given us a new van now, so I'm sweet as a duck.
Well, now you're a TV star and all that. Hey, stay well, Davy. Love to you, mate. Take it easy.
Take care. Cheers, Alan.
Thanks, man. Bye-bye. That's our Davy. He's going to be on the telly. We're going to have to watch out for him on Night Force. And Davy he's just a hoot. He should have his own reality show anyway, because he's just that good and that funny. And it's natural with a man, it's natural. Anyway, it is time that we get into a thing that we loosely describe as the blah. Now, the blah particularly is something when we get the entire team together, and what do we look at? Well, we look for anything that's trending, anything that's happening, and we discuss that, including Monday's front pages, because we are heading we're technically into Monday now, as it stands. I am going to be I better play the music, I suppose, first. There you go. Oh, it's the blah. I recognise the music. Good. I am joined with Hollywood McShane, the producer of The Stars.
Evening.
And a man who, if it wasn't for pickpockets, would have no sex life at all.
What an introduction.
It's Chris.
Hiya, you're right.
Chris from the Switchboard, and also a fellow presenter. So that is the team tonight. Let's start, though, with a look at what is going to be on Monday's front pages. Be interesting to see. Now, I think I've done that thing again.
No.
Every time I go to this particular area of the website where we previously prepared, we end up like some stories from like 6 months ago. So I'm not going to fall into that trap again. Instead, I'm going to go straight to the Daily Mail. A new blitz on freed jihadis, as the Prime Minister reveals 74 convicted terrorists are back on the streets, and the police make their first dramatic arrests. Now, freeing jihadis, the government never told us. They never said, oh, by the way, we're letting some Al-Qaeda and ISIS people free. They never said they've only served a small part of their sentence, so we're going to put a tag on them and that'll be all right. I mean, this whole thing on the bridge could have been so easily avoided.
It's unbelievable, isn't it, really? They should be tagged, they should be traced, or not let out at all.
That's where I'm thinking. Personally, I wouldn't let them out, and I'm a great believer in something that nobody's ever thought about and nobody's even considered. If you go back to the time of King Richard the Lionheart, say, Queen Elizabeth II, or the first rather, not the second, Queen Elizabeth I. If you go back to those times historically, if somebody did something really bad against the country, treason you would call it, they'd either die,
chop their head off,
because they'd be beheaded or hanged or whatever, or they'd be sent into exile, which meant you're never going to be allowed back in Britain at all, ever. Boom. Now, I think that's what should happen. Whether they're people who are British, they should pick a country, because you're not staying here. Goodbye. And your passport ripped up, off you go. And I do think that the exile thing would solve an awful lot of problems for us. The Times, spy chiefs on alert for London Bridge copycats. Mind you, you've got to give credit to the police. They're within 2 minutes or 3 or 4 minutes and shot the guy. I mean, that's one. Let's not just faff about. And did you hear the story about the Polish guy?
No.
The beginning of the show I mentioned, only in Britain would there be a terrorist stabbing people with knives, and 2 people run at him. One's a builder with a fire extinguisher, and the other's a Polish guy with a narwhal horn. Now, a narwhal horn It's like a unicorn's horn, but it's from the front of a sea creature. And they're going to be 3 and 4 foot long and really sharp.
What was he doing with that?
He lifted it off the wall in a cafe nearby. Apparently, he just ran in, took it off the wall, and then ran towards it.
I'm sorry, but
amazing.
Absolute respect for those kind of people.
Yeah.
Just should have progged them.
They
with
should
it.
get some recognition.
And the narwhal.
Yeah.
They should have gone through.
I'm going to have to Google that when I go next door.
Absolutely. They're the unicorns of the sea.
Right.
Anyway, Daily Telegraph. Terrorists freed early to be sent back to jail. Do you think? And I love the way that Boris is trying to twist it so that he looks. Well, I've always thought it was wrong. Well, why did he allow it in the first place? He's Prime Minister, for heaven's sake. No, you kind of make excuses, making it other people's fault when you're the guy that let them out. And now Boris is saying, I'll beef up the borders. Yeah, that'll be right. The Sun, London Bridge terror attack. The angels stolen by pure evil. The second victim was a volunteer, aged 23, and a rather attractive young lady. Nice people were just going about their business. It's horrific. Anyway, there we go. The Information newspaper. They always saw the best in people. Tributes to the inspirational victims of the London Bridge terrorist. Cambridge University graduates Jack Merritt and Saskia Jones were attending the prisoner rehabilitation event. Parties blame each other for the release of the attacker as the Prime Minister reviews cases of 74 offenders freed early. It's bad enough that one got out, but 74. Accusations that politicians have sought to exploit the attack. Well, yes, they all do, because it's that time of year where, when we're heading towards an election. Daily Mirror, second London Bridge victim, brilliant and kind Saskia Jones, just 23, was the best of us. But like Jack Merritt, 25, she was murdered by a barbaric terrorist and failed by a cash-strapped, broken justice system. And now Boris Johnson admits 74 more extremists are free to walk our streets. Betrayed, says the newspaper. I'm not getting into which parties to blame particularly, because presumably the party that let them out's to blame. That's kind of a given. It's just my view on the whole terrorist thing. We have to take responsibility as a country, because we went to a lot of it. We're still in Syria, bombing people back to the Stone Age. We did it in Afghanistan. We did it in Iraq, and we shouldn't, because we were lied to by politicians. And if somebody did that to Britain, would you not feel like going to their country and giving them some? Now, I'm not sticking up for terrorists at all, but one action comes a reaction, and you can't deny, well, why are they coming here? It's not, well, let's just knack somebody canny. Let's go for people that have harmed what they construe as their people. The Guardian, Prime Minister accused of exploiting deaths in the terror attack. And Malta's Prime Minister quits in a crisis over a reporter's murder. Oh, a bit of Agatha Christie going on there. Financial Times, the TCI boss calls for fund managers to be fired over the emissions failures. Metro newspaper, London Bridge attack. Second victim is named. She was killed for caring. She was going to this to try and help people through a rehabilitation course, and the person didn't deserve their time, let alone their lives. The Independent, austerity to blame for risk from freed terrorists. Well, once again, who brought in austerity then? Question mark. And I've never thought austerity was it's if you're a political party of any sort, tell you what we'll do. This was the plan. I remember it clearly. We're going to, instead of letting people have really good wages, we're going to cut everybody's wages down so that we can pay back all the money that Britain owes, and then we'll go back to the people and give them a boost. Now they say we can't give the people a boost because we don't have enough money and we don't know what's going to happen if and when Brexit takes place. So we still can't do that. Have they cut down the money they owe? No, they've added 1.5 billion to it. Amazing, incredible. Chris, what's your story?
Well, something a bit different for those of us that can afford our own private personal cleaners. Not many of us, not many in this room anyway. Yeah. Well,
That's a fact.
A cleaning service with a bit of a difference in the northeast. They will come round and clean your house in the buff. It's a fun and flirty service where they will do the hoovering, the ironing, the dusting, the cleaning. They'll do whatever you like in the nutty.
Polishing?
And I had a feeling that was going to end up somewhere like that. But possibly, yeah. They do a very good job as well. £75 an hour.
Ooh. Whoa.
For fully nude.
This is men or women?
It's it may well be both. I think it may well be both. You can have just a topless cleaner for £65 an hour. If you just want them in their lingerie, it's £55 an hour. It was set up by a 26-year-old 2 years ago in Edinburgh, and it was such a big success. She's from Newcastle. She's decided, we'll try it at home, and it's a success. It's been in the local press, and people are raving it. And I suppose they would. The reviews are very good.
Well, if there's any night owls hire these services?
Yeah, would you go for this? Would you like somebody to come round and titillate? I have to say, because that's probably what it's about.
If you were the cleaner, you'd want them to have the heating on, wouldn't you?
Yes,
Especially
this
this
time
time
of
of
year.
year.
This time
Or
of year.
not.
Well,
or not. Come on.
Apparently, they do. They sell themselves as high standards of cleaning. There's nothing untoward about this. It's
whoa.
not an escort service.
Yeah, just whoa. And I hear it's not an escort service. High quality cleaning.
Is that what you're ordering for?
Well, no, it's
But
just
you
if
just
you've
sit
got
on the sofa and watch them. I
if
don't
you-
know.
if you've got all. I'm sorry, but how clean can you get a portion? It's an awful thing to mention. How clean can you actually get a
Is
man's?
that part of the service?
I don't think
No, but it's waving about everywhere and it's rubbing up against the couch and the bed.
If you're
and-
not in,
Yours are the cleaners. I'm not sure who you're talking about.
the cleaners. Let's say the cleaner was doing your bed. Let's say they were doing your changing your
Yeah.
bed. Well, you'd be rubbing on your
that's a
sheets.
good
and
point.
But what do you do
That's
while
what I
they clean? Because
What if
obviously
you're
you'd
not
want
there?
them.
I think you probably do a bit of polishing yourself just to help them out. Save you
I'd feel awkward, me.
Save you a bob or two by helping with the polishing.
I'd
wouldn't
feel
you?
a bit awkward sitting there
Well,
with
I
someone
wouldn't.
dusting
Would
the
you
telly.
want to? Would you really want to? No, you don't
know.
Would you?
Where do they keep their dusters?
Look at. Well, there you go. They mop the floor at the same time, I guess. When...
Would you have one?
I wouldn't rule it out, but probably not. I couldn't
would-
afford it.
I wouldn't ru-
£75 an hour.
I wouldn't rule it out.
I mean, I'd want them to clean as well. If
You
it was
wanna do a good
£75,
job.
You'd
Do
want
a
them
good
to,
job.
clean.
But
Because that's
it-
a lot of money.
But the idea is to turn you on, isn't it? Isn't that?
I would assume, but maybe just company.
What if someone knocks on your door while they're in there doing it?
naked company. I remember, we were talking about Amsterdam. Oh, blimey. This is dangerous where we're going. But a fellow presenter and I took a group of night owls to Amsterdam. Oh, jeebus.
Starts off well, this.
Yeah, and right. And he took me to the very first time into a peep show. Now, I've never been into a peep show. And there was a naked woman there. And when you walk into the peep show, your door light comes on so she can see you, so she can writhe naked in front of you with just glass between you. What do you say to these people? Because she came over to me, and I remember I heard the Britishness in me come out, and it was like, "Good evening." She's right there. I mean,
how are you?
You're very, yeah. And I seem to remember she says, "You're very attractive." And it's like, what crap is pouring out? And then I just felt bad for her, and I could quite happily have said, "Here's 20 quid. Put your clothes on and go for a bacon bath."
But they probably like it as well, though. Good money and all that. So,
but they like it. That
you would think. I mean,
do you think?
I would think a lot of them would probably like it,
Oh, I would
being
imagine
naked and stuff. And yeah,
It's good money as well.
It's something, but I'm not. Then you have to clean. I mean, would they not just rather give you one and just get on their way rather than?
well, then you'd have to sell it to something else, I guess.
It is a cleaning service. There is
Yeah.
nothing like that. Their customers range from the youngest in the 30s up to the 80s. They cater for all ages, but it is a cleaning service. There's nothing, absolutely nothing
Right,
to word
okay.
about it.
Okay. Tony, over to you.
Right, well, there's still no close on this one. This is an Instagram post that went viral after a woman in California. So I don't know this word. I've never heard of it until tonight, so it's a lesson learned. Perineum. Have you heard of it?
Perineum.
Perineum.
The bit between your bum and your...
Yes. Well, I'd never heard of that till tonight, but apparently she does this every day.
What did you think it was doing?
I've never seen it before.
You've never seen it before?
Well, it's she claims perineum.
Perineum.
Perineum sunning helps her boost her energy levels and sleep better.
Sunning?
So basically, she lies on her back and holds her legs
over her ears,
and she points her bum at the sun for 5 minutes every day.
What sun?
to rejuvenate her. And she said that it's changed her life.
Sun your perineum.
Yeah.
Can you not just do it off a sunbed?
Well, I don't know. She lives in California. She's got the sun over there.
Yeah,
but imagine looking out your neighbour,
No.
your window, and your neighbour's doing that, pointing straight at you.
She's at it again. Her next door.
Don't try this at home or on your next holiday. You might get booted off the island.
Perineum sunning. Has anybody ever come across
But it's gone viral over Instagram, so I thought I'd mention that just in case.
The perineum's gone viral.
It has. As well, she's had 8,000 new followers since the post.
I bet she has.
It looked awkward, but it's only 5 minutes a day, so it's just a ritual.
So would you sun yours?
I don't think it doesn't look too comfortable. To be fair,
don't get the sun enough.
I know we don't.
Knowing what's in between, what the perineum is in between.
Yeah.
It's just not anywhere you'd particularly want to stare at for a
But
long.
maybe it does have rejuvenating qualities. I don't know. It's part of
Your
it.
Honour. Your Honour.
I know.
And that's loosely what we call the blah.
0191 488 3188.
This is Night Owls.
Greatest hits radio.
And it is the greatest hits Christmas on its way to you. Do not forget, Rossi's going to kick off Christmas at 9 o'clock this morning with the greatest Christmas hit of all time, as voted for by you lot. And they'll play the top 10 that you guys have voted for. All-time favourite Christmas songs. And let's see how your choice fared in that. Also, time for our third clue that will win you tonight. Hang on, let me have a look. We have Operation Acid, the downfall of Charlie Cray, and also The Craze, the Geordie Collection, and Simon Webb's album, Smile. That's what you will win if you can solve what song features 4 particular things. We may well not be having the chat about the Craze tonight. That may well be put back to next week because we just get so many calls and we want to get you on air. You're always our priority. But here's your third clue. Now, we're looking for a famous song that features all of them. Clue number 1, something that circles the planet over and over and over again. Second clue, James Brown's massive hit about his libido. Okay? James Brown's massive hit about his libido. Third clue, one was dropped on Hiroshima, another on Nagasaki. Specifically, we're talking here. One was dropped on Hiroshima, another on Nagasaki. You're 3 clues in. 4th clue might give it to you. I don't know, we'll see. But you're going to be guessing next what song features all of the things that we're mentioning. Anyway, let's zip across and talk to James, who's in the Wirral. Hello, James.
Good morning to you. How are you doing?
I'm very well. Good to have you back. What are you talking about tonight?
I must first of all thank you, because I got that mug on the 31st of October, and I didn't meant to ring up and say thank you. And it's rather unique, really, isn't it? So thank you for that.
Well, bless you. Thanks, man.
Also, you were saying about unusual presents, but before I come to that very quickly, there was a gentleman who contacted about he wanted a flat. He wanted to try and find a house to live in or something. He was on benefits.
Yes.
That was the last time I spoke to you, and I'm not sure whether there was any follow-up on that, whether he did actually find somewhere to live or not. I hope he did.
Right, I believe so.
That's good. Right, bad presents.
Yeah.
One of the worst presents that my Uncle Alan bought for my mum one Christmas. One was a big, like a cross that you'd find in a I don't know how they got hold of it. And the other one was a ceramic plant, which is like a pot with a. It was dreadful because you didn't do anything with it. And also on my father's 80th birthday, a milestone birthday, we had a family get together that night when I put together a quiz because my dad liked quizzes and stuff, which we always did for most of his life. We were in the quiz league here for many years.
Yeah.
And so on his 80th birthday, we got everybody around that he knew. And we had a party, and I got together all these questions about his birth date and the date of his birthday, and put them all together. But anyway, my Uncle Alan, my mum's half-brother, being so mean that he tends to be, he bought him, have a guess what he got my dad for his 80th birthday, which is 12 years ago. A pair of socks.
Nobody can get excited by socks, I'm sorry.
Precisely, you can't.
No, not even if it's got South Park on. It's still socks.
My mum was horrified by that.
Yeah.
I know, and she thought, well, how mean was that? And, I don't mean to be rude, but ever since my dad died early this year, my Uncle Alan's hardly ever contacted me, and nor has the rest of my family.
It's very sad.
And I'm going to have a very sad Christmas this year. It's coming up to my birthday in 3 weeks' time. And I've got hardly anybody. My auntie contacts me, my dad's half-sister. She contacts me twice a week. But nobody else bothers to contact me. His other sister, Kath, who died, her husband, Vernon, I haven't seen him or heard from him since March the 22nd. Which is my dad's funeral. I haven't heard from him since his funeral. That's nearly 9 months ago.
Sure.
And yet we saw him every week practically since 1974. And I'm thinking, well, come on, give me a break.
Yeah.
And I'm here on my own, and my family don't even bother contacting me. That's how mean they are.
You're making it sound, though, that it's your fault. It's not your fault that
It's not my fault. No. They have just abandoned me. And I can't understand it. I really can't. And then when I try and find out, they say, that's, some people say, yes, my Auntie Ada, she'll contact me, and that's fine. But at the very beginning, this house I'm in now, she said, my auntie said to me, she didn't understand. She said to me, why don't you move out and move across the road into sheltered accommodation? She said, you have to be joking. This house has been paid for. Why on earth should I do that? And she just didn't understand. And I said, well, can I still come and see you? And I haven't even seen the rest of my family since March, by the way. I've only spoken to them on
Does your auntie not want you to come up at Christmas and see her?
She doesn't like Christmas because Uncle Ernie died on Boxing Day in 1995. She hates Christmas now because she can't cope about it. So I say to her a few weeks ago, what do you want for Christmas? She said, oh, don't bother. I'm not going to. She said, I don't want anything. I'm not going to even send cards. I'm going to send you a card maybe, but I won't be buying any presents. They've stopped buying presents for each other, all the family.
Here's the thing. She says that.
She's 82, though.
She's gonna have a miserable Christmas because she's put her mind to it.
I don't know. I mean,
and you've kind of given up on it. I don't think you should. Why don't you get some food, get some nice food, and get it part cooked so it just needs warming up, and go and take it to your auntie.
I actually try and get to it and say, well, what do you want for Christmas? Because I don't like to not buy presents for people, even though I've not got a lot of money myself.
Sure.
I know I'm partially sighted. I have Asperger's syndrome.
Yeah. And
yes, I am on benefits, but I say to her, what do you want for Christmas? And she said, oh, don't bother. And I said, well, she won't even bother buying presents. And I'm thinking, well, you don't have to, but it's the thought that counts.
It is, but you see, that's why I would suggest doing what I suggested, which is get some food, nice, lovely food that just needs not majorly cooking.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm talking about maybe a cooked chicken, or you get some veg and get it all nicely done, and just go and say, tell you what, we're going to have a better Christmas. I've got a couple of games here. We'll watch or listen to a bit of TV or radio. We'll get the dinner on. I'm not going to have you miserable on Christmas Day.
Luckily, I am going to be going to have Christmas dinner out on Christmas Day.
Well, that's a good thing.
A restaurant up the road, which I've booked the Christmas dinner for, so that will be okay, and I'll be able to take some home with me.
Right.
So that will last me a few days.
That's good.
But I will endeavour to keep. You know, they're extremely mean, my family, to be fair.
It's very... You see, but as you say, I think your family's actually not unlike many families. Because once somebody dies in a family, you know, that like, well, it was their wife or another member of your family that they were coming to see all along. The fact that you were just there, well, that was just part. You were part of it, but you weren't if you know what I mean.
But I spent I'm 49 next a few weeks' time, right? Yeah. I have, in school, including school holidays only up until 1992, and all the time after that. But since 1984, because my mum had epilepsy as well as their liver problems and all sorts, and my dad had dementia. I basically looking after him since I was at school. Yeah. And this will be my first Christmas on my own, and I do not like it. I'm afraid. One of the last things that my mum did was put the Christmas tree up in 2016. I haven't taken it down; it's still there because I can just put the lights on now that it's December. You know, to remind me, but I will not take it down because my mum put it up. I'll never get it right. Because I'm hopeless. I'm partially sighted.
It's very sad. It's very sad,
really
James.
upsetting. It's going to be my first Christmas on my own.
But you see, doesn't it? You're going for some bait. You've already paid for it and all the rest of it. Yeah. I would still, on another day, just go up and surprise your auntie and say, "But you didn't expect me to come along. I'm not going to let you have a miserable Christmas." It's just, what happens in cases like this is, though, you'll sit there in your house and say, why don't people come and visit me? Well, they're not getting off the backside, and neither are you. Well, so it takes somebody to start.
He's not going to be here either because he always goes away to his wife's sister. So it'd be sister-in-law, won't it? In Bury St Edmunds.
Right. Well,
so
I mean,
never here, and I'm thinking, well, why
change the ones. No, but as I say, you've just got to get a bit more proactive. And you're wanting people to come and see you. You go and see them instead.
Well, I shall endeavour to see if I can do that. Whether I'll be able to manage to do it, if they'll let me, I don't know, because Vernon, for example, he said, I'll get in touch with you and let you know when you can come and see me. And he hasn't bothered even contacting me. So the thing is, why should I chase them all the time? Why can't they contact me? Nobody ever rings me up and says, how are you? I have to ring them.
Absolutely. But what you're also saying is, you come and see me.
Yeah.
And not, I'll come and see you.
I mean, I could come and see them, but they might not want me to.
Right. No, I hear that.
My point?
But if you say, well, look, I'm going to be in your neck of the woods on Thursday, would you mind if I pop in?
Yeah. Okay. I'll give it a try.
Give it a go, man. Otherwise, you're going to be just sitting waiting for that doorbell to ring, and it won't do it. And that's just
that's a lot
painful.
of the time I'm out anyway, but I do get cross because I hardly ever hear from my family.
Nah, it's very sad. Very sad. James, I must move on. But bless you, man. Good luck to you.
Thank you so much.
I hope it works out better.
Ring you up before Christmas as well, but
I look forward to it.
If I don't, then have a good Christmas.
I will, man.
Everybody else as well.
Good luck to you too. I just hope it works out better than you think it will. Sometimes life has a habit of surprising you. Let's go and talk to Anonymous, who's in South Shields. Hello, Anonymous.
Hello.
Hello there. What can we do for you tonight, darling?
So I'm quite similar to a lady that was on before.
Right.
Around about just under a year ago, I was evicted from my home.
Right.
And then I was put into another flat, which is now being sold, and the estate agent has put me in a new place.
Right.
But the landlord wants... Oh, it's complicated. The landlord that took it on was called Chris at the time, and he did me a favour and gave me some of the furniture that was in here, but he sold that on to somebody else who's now selling it on again. And the person he sold it on to wants the furniture left behind, so I'm now left without certain items.
Right.
So I'm starting out again.
So what do you need it on?
I need a double mattress.
Double?
I'm not allowed to take the bed with me, believe it or not. The bed I've slept in for 8 months, I'm not allowed to take with me.
So you need a double mattress and a double bed?
Not the unit, because luckily my new home has a pine frame in it.
All right. So you just need a double mattress.
And a dining room table and chairs, please.
Dining room, table and chairs. Right,
Yeah.
Night Owls, have you got such a thing? A dining table and chairs and a double mattress. Now, it may well be that you've got this stuff and you're thinking, I wish I could get shot of it, because there's nothing worse than having a mattress that you don't
drive
need.
either. I'm a young girl, I'm 28, and I don't drive a van.
Right, no, I understand
So
that.
I don't have no one.
So double mattress, well, first of all, let's hope if we can get them. And if we get them, then we'll find a way to get them to you. So dining table and chairs, double mattress, just a double mattress on its own. Does anybody have one? What you need to do immediately, and I mean immediately, call Chris on our phone line 0191 488 3188. Phone Chris right
I get my
now.
keys on Friday, the 6th. So it's like literally this weekend that I'm moving.
Right, so the sooner we get
Monday now, isn't it?
I know, well, hey, if we could pull it together, we will try. Dining table and chairs, if anybody's got a set that you're getting some new, or you've got some new and these are tucked away in a spare room.
Put a coffee stain on it and put a tablecloth on it.
You can. The double mattress as well. We'd like you sleeping, though, perfectly well,
please,
instead of on the couch. Right, double mattress for her pain unit. Has anybody got one? Call us right now if you can help in any shape or form. Coming up to Christmas, we would love to hear from you. 0191 488 3188. We'll give that a shout and we'll see what we get.
Alan, I did send you an email. I think I sent it to the right place. So if you try and fish it out, it's on there as well.
It's on there too. Okay, I'll be watching for it. Thanks very much, love.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. Can you help? She needs a double mattress and she needs a dining table and some chairs. If you've got one, doesn't matter if they're a bit, if they show age, and there's things you can do. Dining table and chairs, double mattress. Be lovely if we could get that from you. Now, and we've had Amy Winehouse on the show tonight, talking to the stars. I've got a piece of music coming from Texas. So I was talking to Charlene about everything. And we got down, because she's the idol to a lot of people. But what happens about her meeting her idol?
There's no any point getting on a stage or doing anything or making a record or anything unless you are, somebody said to me today, you don't seem the kind of person that bothers about number ones. I went, are you joking? Every record that we go to write, we're writing it to be a number one. Don't ever think that's not what we're doing. Every album we write, it may not, that may not be what it's going to be, but let me tell you right now, that's absolutely what we're aiming for every time. 100%. And anybody that tells you they're not is talking absolute rubbish.
Yeah, absolutely. They don't want it.
Well, no, they're just, I don't know who they think they're fooling. Everybody wants to be the best.
No, for sure.
No doubt about it.
You've been in the limelight for so long. Can you remember what it was like not to be?
I don't really think I'm in the limelight, to be honest.
No?
No, I don't.
You must
I
be
honestly
recognised
don't.
everywhere, though, sure.
No, now and again. I mean, it was quite funny. We stopped at the service station on the way here, and I was going to Kentucky, and I could see some people laughing as I was like sticking my hand in the bag and pulling out the chips. I'm like, oh my God, she's eating chips. Yes. I'll not be eating them tomorrow though, because I'll be doing promo and I've got TV coming up, and seriously I have to stop eating chips. But I was so hungry because I've eaten all day. It was one of those moments. So you get the odd bits of that, but most of the time people just kind of they don't even see me. So that's kind of the way I like it.
Right, the anonymous life.
It's not any. It's nice when people come up to you and they say, "Well, I love your music, or I saw you in concert, wherever, and everything. That's kind of cool. You know, it takes a lot of bottle to go up to somebody and say, "Oh, I like something you did." I've done it myself with people.
Yeah.
And you know,
who'd you do it with?
I've done it with lots of people. You know, I've gone up to, you know, I've chatted with Bob Dylan and people like that, and said, you know, you've been really influential in my music. And the one person, I'll tell you who actually is the one person I kind of went, you know, I end up having a conversation. I've met loads of people, and I've had really interesting conversations with them, and they have been influential in my music, but I've never ever been like but there was only one person actually that did happen with, and it was actually Kate Bush.
Really?
Yeah, it was one of those really weird situations. It's quite a surreal, I hope nobody thinks I'm being a big shot by telling this story, but it was one of those funny things where it was Elton John that introduced me, and he said to me, "Oh, Charlene, you know Kate?" And I thought he was talking about Kate Moss, who was like a mate of mine, and I was like, yeah. I turned around and I swung around, and it was Kate Bush, and I love Kate Bush. I mean, I absolutely love Kate Bush, right? And I was a wee bit like, my voice went up about 3 others. I was like, Kate Bush! It was one of those moments. And I was like, oh my God. And I was kind of a bit like, I love you, you're amazing, you're fantastic. I went into one of those, it's the first time I've ever sort of done that, and I was really a bit starstruck.
Well, it's honest.
Well, she's just not really somebody that you see about, and she's not somebody that you hear a lot about, or you know, you run into her. Or, you know, in all the years I've been doing music, there's always moments where you run into people, or you've done TV with them, or you've done you've done festivals with them, you've been in their company, whatever. Never a Kate Bush. I've never seen Kate Bush in my life, and that was when I met Kate Bush. I was a wee bit in awe.